I got a multi-track recording from one of my brothers, and apparently it has timing issues that I'm going to try and correct. It's a Audacity multi-track file. I'm not going to work in Audacity because I'm not that comfortable with it. So what I'm going to do is export it from Audacity into Pro Tools. You can fix timing in like I could do it in Resolve or Pro Tools, and I think Reaper will do it. But I'm not comfortable with Audacity, so I'm not going to attempt it here. I'm just going to export it from here. But before I export it, we're going to see what we have to work with. So it looks like a click track, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tracks. These are all harmonica tracks. So he's got harmonicas playing different parts. So let's see what we have to work with. Let's give it a listen. Okay. So the timing is off from the click track. Let's listen to it without the click track. Just let's see how that goes. Oh, that's better. Sounds better. Still off. A lot of the timing's off. So that's what we'll try and fix. Let's see. So before I export, I want to name the tracks so that I know what I have on the export. We do that here. Right click there and rename tracks. This one is it click? Let's listen to this. That sounds like melody. So call that melody. And what's this one? Oops. That's the same. So melody 2? Melody 2. You can name these whatever you want. Like you could say soprano if you're doing soprano, alto, tenor, bass, or instruments, you know. We'll just go with melody for now. All right, what do we got? Melody, melody 2. What's this third one here? Solo. Okay, that sounds very much like what a bass part would sound like. We'll call that one the bass. Next up. That sounds like chords. We'll call that one chords. And what's this one? Well, it sounds like the melody, but the waveform looks very different. than the two melody tracks I have for some strange reason. It looks like it's maybe a mix of two. I don't know. Let's just make sure it is the melody. We'll listen to all the melodies and see if they're the same. Yep. Okay, you're melody 3. And last, what is this? What mystery could this one have? Oh, I still have other tracks on, don't I? Let's turn those off. Sounds like a high harmony part. High meaning it's above the melody. We'll just call it harmony. If there were other harmony parts, that's the last track. So, but if there were other harmony parts, I might name it more distinctly, like high harmony or alto or tenor or something like that. But since it's just one harmony track. Okay, now we've got all our tracks named. Another thing I want to do before exporting is to center all the tracks. They look like they're all mono tracks, but I hear them panned. So we want to center them all so we get the same thing in all of them, because we'll do any panning in my future mix in Pro Tools. So center that, and center that. Why does that have a picture of a guitar on it? That's weird. Hey, stay still. And center that, and the other ones are centered. That's really strange. It has a guitar there. Okay, they're all centered. Let's listen to it and make sure everything sounds in the middle. Yep. Okay. And we'll unmute the click track, because if it's muted when I export it, it will be nothing. So let's try this export. First, you want to select a spot for it. We'll go up here to where we're working, which is on my D drive. Harmonica test 1, and let's make a new folder called harmonica waves. That's because I'm going to export wave files, which you can bring into the other editing programs. Audacity's format is proprietary, so you can't really play Audacity files in anything. You have to export them as a wave or some other compatible format. So that's what we'll do. And looks like these are 44100 files. I'm gonna make them 9600 and 24-bit. Reason being that since I'm going to be manipulating them and stretching them and maybe EQing them and such, you want as many bits as you can to work with, because you get a better result. More bits is more better. Let's see, use label or track name. Looks good. Let's see how this does. And mono. Don't export mono tracks as stereo. You're just doubling up your ear bits with no real reason to. Oh, it's blinking. Oh, successful. All right. Okay, let's say goodbye to Audacity. Save the project. Sure. And let's see what we have here. We'll just pick one randomly to make sure it actually worked. And we'll check the codec. It is 96 kilohertz. That's nice. And good. Okay, so we've got these guys to work with. I'm going to import these into a Pro Tools session now. So we'll start by making a new session and giving it a name. Call it Harmonicas Test 1. And you want to make sure you've got your file type set correctly. We exported waves, so you want to choose that. If you're working on a Mac, I think you'd be more likely to do AIFF. Set your bit depth, set your sample rate. We did 96, so we'll do that. And then in your new session, there's one thing I forgot to mention, which is the beats per minute of that click track that we exported in the Audacity file, which was 90. So before we do anything, before you import anything, you want to set that beats per minute here under tempo before you bring the files in, because if you bring them in at 120, things will get all wonky. So we set our meter and our tempo to 90. The other thing you want to do is set your timing to bars and beats instead of minutes and seconds or samples, because we're going to work with bars and beats at 90 beats per minute. Okay. Now I think we can drag our shiny new waves in and start this. Put them at the beginning, I hope. There we go. Lovely. So there's a thing I have to do to get audio out of Pro Tools and into OBS. So I'm going to pause for a moment while I do that. Okay, that's done. That's this setup down here, which it's just a track that sends all the audio out to another bus, which OBS reads and can record from. You don't need to do that. So first thing we want to do is reorder these. We'll put the click track at the top. You do that by just dragging this bar here to the left of the track, on the left side of each track. We'll put our harmony we won't do that. We'll put our melody first, and then our, why is that grabbing harmony when I want melody? Melody, and then melody 2 and melody 3 We'll put those three first. Over here you got a plus minus. You can zoom in over on the lower right. So I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see them. And then this bar here down at the bottom drags the screenwriter left. Okay. Let's give the melodies their own color. Yeah, I don't know. So we know that blue is the melodies. Maybe blue should be bass. And then we have harmony next, and then bass, and then chords. Everything lines up logically. Harmony we'll do there, and bass we'll do there. Chords we'll do there. Okay, sweet. And click will be the bastard stepchild who doesn't get a color. So after that, you want to assign each of these tracks to a certain type so that the Elastic Audio knows what it's dealing with. And those types, you see this like upside down pin T here, are polyphonic, rhythmic, monophonic, vari-speed, and Elastic Pro. So the click track would be rhythmic, of course. So we'll do that, even though we're not going to mess with the timing of the click track. Melody is monophonic, as are all of these. So we'll set them all to their respective types. Harmony is a monophonic one. The bass is monophonic. And the chords are polyphonic. Okay. I don't know what that is there. So we set our thing to bars and beats, yes. Okay, and over here you want to have tempo and meter checked. And bars and beats. Okay. All right, so we're good. Let's see what we have. Make sure everything is actually working. Hit play here. Okay. It's all working as expected. So first we want to line up these files with our special 90 beats per minute that we set up over here so that they're all lined up. It's hard to see, but the lines here are not correct. Maybe if I zoom in, we'll be able to see them. Where are my... Oh, there's the word grid. Okay, there it is, up top. Turn on grid, and these are our 90 beats a minute line that we want to get, lines that we want to get lined up with. So we'll move our click track over to those lines, and I'm going to zoom in some more to make it as precise. There we go. Doesn't matter which one, they're just lining them up in a generic sort of way. And then we'll make all the other tracks start at the same time our click track does, since that's how it was originally recorded. Just drag them over. I'm using the hand tool up here. You have these three tools you can use. I'm using the hand one. I'll move them over. should be like a snap function where it just snaps to that point, but okay, that's good enough. All right, we have our assignments done as far as monophonic and polyphonic and rhythmic. So now we can, and we've got them all, we've got our click track lined up to our grid. So we know that anything we line up to the grid is going to be in time. I'm going to make these, we'll do 2 tracks at a time. I'll make these first 2 tracks. So first, we will change over here on the left what we're viewing from waveform view to analysis view. And we're going to do that so that we can clean up. These are all the lines that Pro Tools thinks is an event, like the beginning of a note. And there's a lot of them here that are not the beginning of the note, and they're just going to make, when we line this up, they're just going to make our life more difficult. So we want to get rid of them. You do that by, while in the analysis view, hold down the Alt key, is it? Yes. Hold down the Alt key, and while you're holding it, you just click on these guys. And you want to get rid of any that are not the beginning of a note. Because that's all we want to do is get the beginnings of the note so that they, you know, are starting somewhere near where they're supposed to start. That looks good so far. This doesn't take long to do. It's just kind of boring, but not really a big deal. Right, this looks like he kind of ramps into the note. So you can move these a tiny bit if you just click on it and slide it without holding down the Alt key, which would delete it. Most of those look like they're at the beginning of a note. And I'm identifying these by, I guess I should say, by visually that, you know, it has a transient here at the beginning and fades off, fades down. That right there is the start of the note where you have the big transient. So anything that's not, any of these markers that are not event markers, that are not at the beginning of a note, you want to get rid of. So it looks like there's a note here that did not get an event, and I guess that's because he didn't, like in the performance, just legatoed the note right on through to the next note, or which is fine. So I'm not going to put a marker there. I'm just going to let that one, let that fall wherever it may, wherever it decides to land. I don't know why it gets all these extra markers in here, but there might be a way to adjust the sensitivity of that. I don't know what it is though. And even though all these ones at the end are not connected to a note event, you still want to get rid of them all because it'll mess up the waveform anyway. Okay, so that's all good. I don't know what this last little toot is, but we'll leave it alone for now. So now that we've got those done, we can tell Pro Tools to line up all of those on their beats to get them in time. And you do that using the quantize tool, but you have to you edit the events using the analysis view, but when you want to retime it, you go to the warp view. That's over here on the left. So we're going to take our 2 tracks that we just finished our analysis cleanup on and go to the warp view. Now you can quantize these, which I think is Control 0. Yes, Control 0 or Alt 0. Sorry. And I'm going to just leave this at the defaults because this is just for demonstration purposes. You can mess with all these if you want. Randomize it a little to make it less robotic, that sort of thing. And we're dealing with quarter notes, so you don't want to quantize to the 16th note here, or it'll make a mess. Well, let's just do it that way, just to show you why it doesn't work. So you see you've got the first note coming in here in the middle when we want it to come in on the 1 here. This one's coming in on the 13th beat of the 16. So let's undo that with Control Z, and we'll set it to quarter notes and hit apply. Now our first note is on the 1 there where it's supposed to be. Now we don't yet know if all these other beats got it done right, but it looks pretty good. Let's just give it a quick listen and see. Oh, while we have the quantize window open, let's quantize the next one as well. You just change tracks by clicking on it so it's selected, and then hit apply for the quantize. So now we have those 2 tracks quantized, and we'll solo them and see what we got. They're so well synced that it almost sounds like just one performance. So it looks like this note here probably should come in on this beat over here, and you can just grab the little pin and slide it over if that seems more right to you. Now I personally don't mind it coming in on the half beat there, but let's just listen to it and see. Maybe pan them one way and the other, just temporarily. This is just so we can hear it. I would never leave it panned like this for final. But so it almost works, kind of coming in on the half beat there. We'll leave it normal for now, though. And put these back close to the middle because we'll do our mix later on. Okay, so first 2 tracks are done. Let's just speed through this now. I'll leave the lines up for this. After we're done with the warping, you want to go back to waveform view, because you don't want to mess up any of these lines. I'm going to leave this, our melody track 2, up though, just so we can see the prior lines and use that as a comparison to the new lines that we're making. So let's do 2 tracks again. Harmony and melody 3. So we start by selecting analysis. Where's our harmony track? That don't make no sense. I must have accidentally dragged something. Okay, we'll put that there. And chords, we'll just put it in there. There we go, your chords. And let's solo this to make sure we actually do have the harmony going on here. The harmony track. Yep, that's the harmony track. Okay, we're good. I don't know what I did there. So now we're in analysis view. We're just going to go through and clean up all these doohickeys by holding down the Alt key and clicking on them. Again, we're just getting rid of all the ones that are not at the beginning of a note. I'm going to zoom in a tad. Then we have this reference up here. So you want to, it can give you a clue as to where these things are. As you see on the harmony track, we have these 3 notes, and up here we have these 3 notes. And then you've got 3 more here, and 3 here. Well, this second, or the third melody track, though, is a bit odd. As far as the waveform goes, it's difficult to see any starts and stops because I don't know why the waveform looks that way, so I can't really say. Specifically right here, it looks like maybe there's a start of a note there, but you can't really tell. So I'll just leave it alone though, and we'll just leave the ones that are more distinct as a beginning of a note, and do that. Okay, that's fine. We'll roll along here. See, look at all of these. Doesn't make sense what this program is doing. Adding all those in. But they're easy enough to get rid of, so it's not that big a deal. Again, if any of them don't look like they're at a spot you want, you can just click on it and drag it around and put it where you want at the beginning of the note. Oh my, look at this mess. I'm just going to get rid of all these because don't know what's going on there. Don't really have anything signifying, hey, I'm in the beginning of a note. So you see in our melody we have nya, 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 but down here we don't have that distinction. Hopefully Pro Tools will get it right when it lines these up, but if not, it's easy enough to move the note around and put it where you want it. So not really a big deal. What is this all about here? Is that a note there or not? Don't know. This is starting to get kind of squishy here. Not really sure where notes begin and end. But also not worried about it. Wonder what that is. Does it look like two notes? Let's listen to it. Solo that. No, that's just one note. So we'll get rid of this doohickey here. This looks like one breath, so we'll leave that be. And I was talking about this here in the harmony part. Looks like we do it again, one big long breath here. Okay, looks good. That's questionable there, isn't it? Is that really a beginning of a note? I don't know. These are definitely not. That looks like two notes there. Get rid of you. Get rid of all of you. Silly markers. These all look like they line up nicely. And get rid of all these tail ones on the tail end, because they make the CPU mad. We don't need that. Don't care about it. All right, we'll go back through here slowly. It looks like we've gotten the beginnings of the notes, possibly. All right, let's quantize these guys, see how they line up. So we need to go out of analysis view into warp view, select the track, hit Alt 0. There it is, Alt 0. I was hitting the wrong buttons. Bring up quantize. You can bring this up also from here in the event view. Quantize. If you don't want to use keyboard shortcut, just go do it that way. I probably should have mentioned that sooner. Anyway, zoom out a bit. We're gonna quantize our harmony, our melody 3 part now. Boom. And then we'll do our harmony part. Okay. Let's just visually go down and see if things look like they line themselves up. This one here might be not quite correct. We'll find out. Same with this. You know, it doesn't have any other corresponding place where it looks like it should go. Should probably go here. Those guys are fine. All right. We'll just listen to them one at a time here. We'll close the quantize window. And I will solo melody 3 with melody 2, which we've already checked and we know is okay. And we'll pan them again right and left so we can tell. It's fine. Where's that part I thought was going to be weird? Oh, it was in the other. Okay, so that's cool. That one lined up fine. We'll take it out of warp view so it doesn't lose its little mind. And we'll unsolo it. And now we'll solo the harmony. Make sure this all lines up right. And pan them again. So we're soloing the known good track, the melody 2 in our left ear, and then harmony in our right ear. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so that's a beat behind. I'm going to zoom in a little and we'll just move that one there, move that one there, and move that one there. See if that's right. That one's also beat behind, and I think something was off there, but it didn't sound too bad, so I might just let it slide. That part. We'll see how it fits with everything else. Okay, that one's fine. Might not be fine, but once we have everything done, we'll go back to that part that sounded like it might be off. So let's do our last two real quick. Chords and bass. Same process. Go to Analysis View. And just start getting rid of these, oops, clicky doodles. Oh, this is the creaky chair here. Where is the beginning here? Is it there? Looks like he kind of blooms into that note a bit. Bloom. The note is blooming, not bloomed into it. I don't like any of those. Ignore those. How are you? There. All of these notes start big and go down. And since we're lining them all up, collectively that might be a little overwhelming to have all the, all of that big sound right at the beginning of the beat. So I might do something to make that less pronounced. We'll see. We'll see how it sounds. This is what I'm talking about. You got this one going up pretty big, this one going up pretty big. It just kind of makes a certain sameness to everything, and I'll try to think of something to differentiate all the tracks, is what I'm saying, I guess. Maybe with you could just EQ them differently and use a compressor to keep that big sound at the beginning a little less, so that it doesn't collectively all add together in a negative way. What is that? That's probably a nothing, but we'll give it a listen anyway. Let's solo this track. Yeah, that's just a little thing. Not going to worry about it. It's kind of weird here. It's very indistinct. I wonder how that's going to line up. This one here as well. There's nothing really there. I'm going to leave this one here, even though I can't really see a distinct note there, just because it lines up well with, well, it somewhat lines up with these other ones. So we'll just leave it, kind of leave it be, and see how it sounds once we're done. And once again, get rid of all these trailing events. Just clickety click away at them. All right. Very good. So again, with these last two, we'll switch to the warp view. Select it. Here's the beginning of the song, and we will open the quantize window, event operations quantize, or Alt 0. Hit apply, and then select the next track and hit apply again. Okay, we've quantized those two. Now we're going to give them a listen compared to the known good track, which is melody 2 here. Let's see how they sound. So this is bass and melody 2. I think that sounds fine, but I think the intention was for it to come in on the 1. So we'll do that. Okay. That's fine. I might be wrong on that, where that note came in at the 1, but once we put all the tracks together, we'll have a better understanding of what notes work where. And all right, let's just do our last one, which is chords. See, that came in on the offbeat there again as well. It might be intentional. Well, in spite of that, I'm still going to move it to the 1. We can't have too many offbeats, or the devil will take your soul. That doesn't sound right. The melody's playing a 1, and the chord is playing a 5 chord, which is 5-7-2. But that would be what, a suspended 4th? No, it might be fine. It just sounds weird since they're the same. They're in the same range. I think it would be better if it was more spread out. It would work better. We'll leave it for now and see how it goes. All right, let's continue. What is with this big mess here? Did I not clean something up? Oh, it's all this. I should get rid of those. Let's do that. Go to analysis again. And it's just too many notes. It's like Chopin, just too many notes. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And that. And we'll go back to warp, and we'll do the quantize again. Just all right. I don't know why, but Alt 0 isn't working. Let's go with that. Still sounds weird. Maybe it needs to be up more. There's like a da-dun there. Like somebody punched the performer in the stomach while they were playing. And again here, 2 punches. Okay. Now since I re-quantized that, let's go back and make sure we didn't mess anything up. Good enough. All right, we'll turn off warp. Just set that to the waveform for all of these. Since we're now comfortable that we've synced everything up. Let's go to the beginning. We'll recenter these things. Okay, well, our goal was to fix the timing. I feel like we've done that. I'm going to now try to make it into a better mix real quick if I can. I don't know if I can. It did sound a bit pumpy. I don't know if the word is with that, with all of the harmonicas coming in at the same time and everything. So and also they all sound the same. So I'll do two things. I'll try to reduce that pumping and try to give them some just more distinctiveness. So I'll do that by EQing each of the melodies differently. What does a one band EQ look like? Huh. Interesting. Let's not do that. We'll do a multi-band EQ. What has it got? A high pass. Okay. I'm not sure what a harmonica's range is. It's probably somewhere around 150-ish to infinity with those overtones. I wish this had a spectral view. It does not. There's other programs in EQs that have a spectral view, which would be much more handy because then you could see exactly where the spectrum of the harmonica is that you're, or whatever instrument is. But we'll just try to randomize this a little bit. I'll just do a boost and cut here and there. Is that 5K? Make it a little skinnier. Well, that's 5. That's 6. And then we'll cut it at 4 and make that skinnier. And let's roll off some of that room noise I was hearing at the bottom. I'll do that. 50 could probably come up a little, like there. All right, that's good enough. Let's do the same thing on over here. Only this time we're gonna cut it at 6K. We're going to boost it at 4K. So it's the opposite of the other one. And not only that, I'm not going to narrow down the the width of the effect. So here we are comparing, that's number 1, and that's number 2. And number 3, what will we do with you? We'll boost. The others were 4 and 6K. We'll boost 2K. Cut 1K and roll off the whole area of from above the 4K where the other two were messing around. What do you think of that? Is that too weird? Let's compare that to this and that. All right, that should make them sound somewhat different. And then we'll use the pan to give them a spot in the mix. I don't know, how about 46 and 30 left, and then put you 46 right, because we're going to put the harmony in between there somewhere. That's that for now. And then I'll put the compressor on after to smooth it out a little. That pumping at the beginning. Let's just play it and see how this thing is doing. Let's look at the next one. And look at the third one real quick. Alright, that's fine. So I tried to do those all different as well, just to add to the, hopefully make them sound like a different instrument. Or you know, so they don't all just blend together. Harmony, what shall we do with you? We're just going to leave it alone as far as the EQ goes, and I'm just going to add a little bit of something to it. You've got 3 tracks that are doing the melody, but just this one poor guy doing the harmony, so I'm going to add another voice to it. Just do an octave lower, since it's above the melody anyway. Let's solo it. So here, it's bringing in an octave lower. That's 100%. We're not going to do that. We're just going to bring it in a tiny bit so you can hear it. There we go. That's fine. Might be too much. Who knows? And we'll do the same thing. We'll limit that one as well. and we'll put it in the position on the right. 30. So what have I got now? I've got two voices to the left at 45 and 30-ish. Come on, hit the 0. There's 45 and 30. And then on the right, 45 and 30. So let's just listen to those four voices now that we screwed all that up. That's lovely. All right, bass. Oh my goodness. Definitely going to do the pitch shift on the bass because it's not bassy at all. So we're going to add an octave below. And have it even more than we did with the harmony. Yeah. That's it. I'm doing it. Yeah, I'm barely doing anything on that with the compressor. We'll leave that alone. All right, how does that blend in with everything now? That's fine for now. Chords. Definitely going to EQ the chords. And I'm going to take out all the things that I put in on the other tracks just because that's what I want to do. So what do I got? I got a 6K boost, 4K boost, and a 2K boost. Oh, that's a 3K boost. I meant to make a 4K boost. Let's make it a 4K boost. And a 6K cut. So in our chords, try and get it out of the way a little bit of those other guys with a 6K, 4K. Oh, I can't go up to 2K with you, huh? Well. All right, you fussy. All right, let's do it this way. 2K, 4K. You can be the 6K and switch you to that kind. And let's skinny these up. Like that. That looks weird, huh? I don't know if that's going to help. And we'll give it a bump here in the lower, in the mud area. Somewhere around there. broaden that out a bit. And fall off the bass there. What do you think of that? Is that going to help? Probably not. We'll leave the bass and the chords centered. And the chords are going to get the compressor as well, because I think they're the most pumpy of all. It's not really doing a lot, the compression, but I think it's helping at that beginning where it's all squishing together. Adding together, I meant to say. I want to try and figure out what is being played here. It seems weird. Let's mute the chords. So that sounds like 1-4-1. I'll solo the chords. And that sounds like 1-5-1. So the chord is playing a 5 while everybody else in the band is playing a 4. Well, I can try to replace it with a 4, or I can pull it out. I can put the bass there and double it. I don't know. Let's listen some more. Is there any part where the chord track plays a 4 that I can just steal and put in there? Right there. Okay, I can steal that. That is definitely 4. Let's hear that with the bass. Okay, so the bass is playing a 5 when the chords are playing a 4. So, well, okay. What's everybody else playing here? Let's mute the bass and the chords. That sounds very 4-ish to me. So if we put the chords in, it should fit. Right? So then when we put the bass in, it should not fit. I think I'll just leave that. It's a 4 with a 5 in the bass. It's normally fine, but with the really close voicing like this, yeah, I don't think it works. But I can steal that. Chunk of 4 meat there, right here. So I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna select this chunk of 4 here using the selector tool, and then copy it with Control C. Right there. This is where I want it to reside. I wonder if I can just paste right over that sucker. Well, let's see how it sounds. can I drag these? Trimmer tool, that's what I want. Trim that and push that. Let's see how that works. So the bass seems kind of all over the place as far as its levels go. So I'm gonna go after that a little more. So you see here in the beginning there's a lot of power there, and then here it's pretty weak. So it's not sitting in there. It needs to learn its place, is what I mean. I need to go make it stand in a corner. So I'm gonna push this a little more, I think. Push this down a little more, I think, with the compressor. I'll give it a tiny bit of gain, but I'm gonna bring up the softer parts, and this to push down the louder parts. See how it's pretty powerful there at the end, and gets lost a bit in the middle. I don't mind variations like that. It just seems too much is all. You know what? I wonder if I can add an EQ to that. It's just... I wonder if there is even any data down this low. Let's solo it. Let's see if... Oh, that does make it more bassy. Okay. Cool. Then I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna put the compressor after that. Like that. Just one part that still sounds weird to me. It's over here where the bass... Feels like that should be a 1 there. So yeah, let's take this little chunk of 1 here and copy it, Control C, and put it over this chunk of 5 here. See if that works, or see if that makes that sound less odd. Yeah, that works. The bass is playing in 5, but the other parts, let's mute the chords in the bass. And we'll just add the bass. Yeah, that's right. That's just a 1 with a 5 in the bass. That's still the... Yeah, okay, those all fit. Yeah, I could be wrong on this because I don't even know this song, so I'm just guessing. You know what? When that harmony comes in on the second beat there, I want one of the melody guys to do it also. Can I do that? I don't know. Whereas that's here, right? Oh, hey, come on. Oh, I'm in the wrong... I needed that tool, right? Okay, why am I not moving you? There we go. Let's just solo those two together. Okay, so the one harmony, or the only harmony, and the one melody are coming in on this second beat of the measure here, and the other guys are coming in on the first beat. Let's listen. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. That doesn't sound too weird. We're done with this now, so I just want to do a quick review of everything that happened. Our first goal was to get everything in sync, and we did that by syncing it to the grid, to the click track here. But hypothetically, if we did not have a click track, there are a couple of other ways we could have done this, which is to sync it to these grid lines, which you would set with the beat per minute, and just do it the same way. You would turn on warp, and you could just, move the notes to the grid line. But let's say you did not want to do that. Let's say you had a performance, a solo that you really liked, and it did not fit a time, a time grid, and you didn't want it to fit a time grid. You could just sync it. Let's say you really like the performance in this melody track. You could then just leave that one alone. Don't change it. Don't move it to a grid, and then move the others to match that. So you move, if your second note was off and you wanted it to be there, so you could sync all the other tracks to this first track here without using a grid or a click track. So there's 3 different ways to do it, depending on what you have and what you want to do. So we have it all in sync. That was the first thing we did. Then the next thing I did was to try to differentiate the tracks from each other, because it's all a harmonica. Each one sounds exactly the same. We did that by giving them each a slightly different EQ. So here are the 3 melodies. So we did a boost at 6K and a cut at 4K, and on the other one we did the opposite, a cut at 6K and a boost at 4K. That's just to make them sound different, slightly different, and help differentiate them from each other. And then with the third one, we did a boost here and a cut there. And on down, I did that some EQ with pretty much any of them. With the harmony, just kind of pulled it out where the melodies were being boosted and added a little mid-range and some bass just to separate that a little. And with the bass, we pulled a bunch of the mid-range out and the highs out and added some bottom just to keep it less competition with the higher voices by getting rid of these frequencies here. Not getting rid of them, but just reducing them. And then kind of giving it its own space down here in the bass. And then with the chords, this is again sounding exactly the same. So we pulled out the 2K, 4K, and 6K where we were boosting with our melodies. Right, there's 6K boost, 4K boost, and 2K boost. So we cut those out to give the space to the melodic instrument, and then gave it this sort of mid-range area here where it gets to be a little more energetic. So that kind of distinguishes this from, say, the bass, which has its happy space a little lower. And that's all we did with the frequency. Well, actually, no, there's one more thing. We did a bass roll-off or a high-pass filter, or whatever you want to call it, on every track. This is just because they were all recorded in a room. There's room noise, there's very low frequency rumble, and when you're adding 6 tracks of the same bass rumble together, it can get out of control and cause distortion in your tracks and all. So we want to roll that off. That's why you've got high pass filters on most microphones, is for that same reason. So we just did it manually on all of the tracks, because there's no content down here from the instrument anyway that you wanted to keep. And the other thing we did was, for the harmony, we added a second voice, because you've got your 3 melody tracks and only 1 lonely harmony track. So we added a second voice an octave lower and just gave it 20%. It's just a little bit, you can hear it, just to add a little something to the harmony to help it compete with the 3 melody tracks. And did the same with the bass, but much more. I gave it a lot more energy with that octave lower, just to make it sound more bassy. I wonder if you can do two octaves lower. Anyway, I think it helped it. That and the EQ, the low EQ, helps make that bass track sound more bassy. And we did a compressor limiter on all the tracks. That's specifically for, the harmonica is or any blown instrument is going to have a transient at the beginning. You can see it very obviously here. And when you have 6 tracks all playing a transient at the same time, like for example right here, you've got bang, 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 bang. Those are all going to add up, and electrically just make it 6 times bigger than you want it to be. So I'm just shaving off a little bit with using the compressors on all these. The bass got the most of it because the bass had the most variation between the highs and the lows. But that's pretty subtle. Kept it from like 2-to-1 to 4-to-1 for all the instruments as far as ratio goes. And then for the bass, I think we got 6-to-1 to really, 6-to-1 to kick that down. So that's it for the effects, and that was all done just to kind of distinguish the voices and get them in control. And the last thing we did was corrected, I don't know if it's corrected or not, but I traded a 5 chord for a 4 chord here and traded a 5 chord for a 1 chord here because they clashed with everything else that was going on. If this were an orchestra, I mean, the chords were fine the way they were, but it's just that everything is in like a 1 octave range here. So having them all close together, it made a dissonant sound. If you had 4 octaves to spread the notes out across, you could make it sound fine with a broader frequency range, like say 4 octaves. But when all the notes are in 1 octave, it just doesn't sound good to have them all, to have the dissonant chords in there. So I took them out. And I think that's it. That's all we did. Yeah. So we could give it a final listen, check the levels and stuff in the other view, which is the mix view. Let's turn off All right, sounds good. We'll leave it at that. Well, it just needs a good amen at the end, and you wouldn't have to go to church for a month.